Hello everyone, welcome once again to another Power BI related tutorial by Team Slidescope. In this part we are learning about sales patterns of electrical appliances versus daily temperature. So for example, if temperature is very high, certain type of products like cooler, AC, fan, their sales may be more, and if temperature is very low, then products like heater or geyser will be sold more. So we are trying to find that relation and we are trying to analyze this data for that purpose. We have different products and categories. I'll explain you the data set, and on the basis of that data we will create this dashboard. In the dashboard we will also learn all these tax measures that you can see. We'll also learn how to create these simple calculated columns. What is summer revenue, how to find out winter revenue from the dates is something we are going to discuss, and we'll create this simple dashboard to understand more and explore this data more. So let's get started with this tutorial. This is part 1. In part 2 we will do more time intelligence analysis on this data set. Today we are basically using a new data set, that is electrical appliance sales versus temperatures data set. The purpose of this data set is to identify or analyze that if temperature of or if atmospheric temperature increases or decreases, what is the effect on sales of certain type of products. Okay, like for example, if it is extremely hot, then people will start buying more AC, fan, cooler, etc. But if temperature is cold, like if it is chilly, then people will buy more heaters, geysers, those type of products. So that's why we have this data. So this is Slidescope electronic sales data that has been prepared for this purpose only. Okay. And here you can see we have date, city, store, category, and different things. Now I have also prepared questions which we will answer on this data set. Questions like what is total revenue generated in summer months versus winter months. So the purpose of these questions is to understand when and where and how to use filters, which city has the highest average temperature, and so on. So these are some very basic functions, but these are DAX practice questions that is ideal for Power BI or Excel, Power Pivot, or any type of analysis. So now what we can do is we can simply load this data set in Power BI. So we will simply load the data set. It's in CSV format. So just go to that particular data set and load it, and make sure that every column and its header are properly appearing here, and simply load the data. Once you will load the data, we have 100 such rows, and after loading the data we will prepare our dashboard design quickly. So just go to insert, add a text box, and just provide some heading, what are you trying to do. Okay, and I have, if you are noticing, we are using a kind of a template for past some chapters, that we are building a sidebar. So here I will just copy this and put it here, like data driven insights. If you are seeing this, you can check that when I'm copying and pasting here, so it is also copying a URL, okay, which we can remove from here or we can keep. That is your uh, own decision. So this is data driven insights for. So I will just shorten the heading, align it in center, make it bold, and use font size as 32 or 28. So this is something that we can use here. I just want to keep it in single line, so I will just use it this time. And whatever font color or theme you want to select, you can select from here. I have told you that in view you will find more themes. Okay, so from view you can go and select a theme that is more suitable for your requirement, or you can go to customize current theme and select some color palettes that you want. What happens most of times is when some company gives us a kind of work, or they give us data analysis work, so they tell us about their brand guidelines also. So have you guys ever heard about brand guidelines? So in brand guidelines, they will give us allowed colors. Okay, so they will give us a complete palette to use for our dashboards: font, heading font size, paragraph font size. If we are using images, what type of logo to use. These type of things will be there in brand guideline. Along with this, more will be there. So as per brand guideline in Power BI also, we have the complete customization option. Like you can select what will be your font family. Currently it is Sergio UI. So you can select, let's say we are going with privileged MS or whatever font you want, right? And what will be the default font color for your title, for your cards and KPIs, for your tab headers, what type of font will be used. So these type of settings are all there in this view setting. So today you are all going to try and test that as well. Okay. So let's say I'm going with this font palette, and as you can see, even though I am making it bold, it is appearing very thin because uh, this is Sergio Light. So we can select normal font here, and from here we can select any particular font. I'm selecting this one. Then in effects we have shadow and visual border that we can enable to give it some kind of a 3D effect that you are going to try today. Next, this is sidebar. For sidebar I always go to insert, and we insert some shape here. Okay, so this is something that we are going to do. And since we are using this color, so for this shape also we will use the same kind of font color. So I am using this font color for my sidebar also. So this sidebar is where I will put more put my reports, or put my filters, sorry. Here then I can go to insert an image, and I have kept a folder of assets. These assets are downloaded from mostly from Canva. So you can try and create these assets in Canva. Okay, so you can see, like, I have this asset represents electrical and electronics, and which I can use here. It's your choice, or you can use some transparent images. So I'm going to use this transparent image. How to create a transparent image? That is a challenge. So this is a website called Remove BG. In Remove BG, you can provide an image with a background, and it will remove its background. Why I am telling this? You just saw when we inserted that image. So when we inserted that particular image where background was not removed, you can see here, and I tried to put this image over my sidebar. So you can see it is not adapting background color automatically, but this image is perfectly blending with the background because it's a transparent image. So take any image, upload it here, and it will remove its background, and then you can download it as PNG file. Okay, a PNG file. So that PNG file, when it will directly be used in Power BI, then it can work as a image. There is one more option that you can use, and that is, I also want you to like, this is called font icons. Okay, so these are font icons and we can use them as well. Like, you can directly copy them as fonts, and let's say I want to use this. Okay, you can see dollar, yen, euro, pound, all, and these are very easily available. So, and you can directly paste it as a font here and increase font size. So there is no need to add any image. So I will give you guys a library of these different fonts also, which you can directly use in your projects. Okay, and here are more font icons like e-learning course platform, different type of recycle, globe, whatever you want to use, you can select from here. And I will give you instructions or links from where you can get more of these fonts. Okay, now these fonts are lightweight, and so when you will add an image has its own size, but these fonts are very lightweight, and also they don't need extra work, so it will be easier for us. So now you can see it is almost ready. Now, if I important thing, please save your work. Sometimes we put effort in designing, and then suddenly something happens and we lose our work. So this is sales versus temperature kind of analysis. Now question is, what will you think as target field here? Like, according to you guys, what will be the target field here? We have to see effect of temperature on sales, right? And which is revenue, or so let's say revenue is the most important thing here. We just want to see, obviously temperature is affecting revenue, but of what type of products, right? So when temperature is high, so yes, temperature will be used for that, like on the basis of average temperature, what is the you know sum of quantity sold for different categories, right? This type of things will be there. So first of all, as we do, we prepare some KPIs. So our KPIs will be prepared like with the help of these cards. Can you tell me name of some KPIs that we can use here? Like one very easy KPI will be revenue, right? What is total revenue? And sum of revenue here is 14 million, and we can go to call out value and use a type of color or a particular color for it. In effects, we can go to shadow, enable shadow for it, and if needed, visual border also. Here we can go into category label, and because this font is barely visible, so we will use some other color from this palette, and now it is good to or good for me. I will copy. So Mohan, what should be the other KPI, like what can we pick from here?
City.
Category, city, etc. We can take like count of categories that we are selling, number of store locations that we have, but usually for first we focus on numerical values. So
Final
because
maximum price.
yeah, we can do things like maximum price, minimum price, right? Here I just want to do one thing. I will use 14 pixel as revenue and call out value as 30 pixel. And now I will copy this in formatting. Yeah. So next thing, important thing for me will be average temperature also, right? because for different situations I want to check what is average temperature, and you can see in the data set we have the average temperature in degrees Celsius, okay, which is 22.99. And as I told you, like, we have these different fonts. So if you think you can use any particular uh, you know icon from here, so you can use them with your uh, charts also. So for example, it is sum of revenue. We can go here, and this is actually category label. So we can rename from here. So rename for this visual as revenue or total revenue, and we can use this font. So now you can see that font is appearing. So like Unicode font icon for temperature, right? So you can simply copy this directly, and then you can use it in your project. So what you can do today, you can try these things. I will just use one more and then I'll use later. So here maybe we have copied the codes also. So that's why it is appearing here. Now, as you told, count of locations, count of stores, etc. Those type of things can be used. So for example, we have a store. For a store, count distinct. So 10 is the total count of a store. Similarly, in how many different cities do we have? So we can use 5 is the count of city. Actually, there can be any, there can be more values, like what is the total quantity sold. So total quantity sold can be one KPI for us, and whatever company requires, right? So instead of sum of quantity sold, if we simply keep it like quantity sold, so this will prepare our KPI list. Now let's try to solve these questions that we just saw. So, so question number one is, what is the total revenue generated, okay, in summer months versus winter months? Is the question clear to you? So summer months will be May to July, winter months will be December to February, and we are doing the analysis on the basis of cities, like mostly cities in North India. Some are West Indian cities also, but some are from western part of India. But like for most of them, summer month is May to July, or winter months are from December to February. So summer revenue can be calculated with the help of calculate functions. Okay, and here we are going to learn usage of in operator. So let's copy this, and now I'll explain its usage. So here you can create a new measure, because that value will be the singular value. So first of all, before creating that, I will change name of this, or I will rename this to sales. Okay, and I will create a new measure where we are using calculate function. In calculate function, we know that first argument is our expression, and second argument is our filter. Okay, so our filter here is like this. So we are using a month function. In month function, so we also have sales date, right? So date wise, you will see, and in month function you will find sales date in 567. Okay, so in 567, so this month function converts a data type in a numerical month format, okay, in integer format. So if you will write month January, so output can be, uh, if you will take a date of January and use month function on it, then it will give you integer value as 1 because January is 1. So, and we are using in operator just like we used in SQL, right? In case of in operator, and then we are using a curly bracket to prepare a list of values to compare. So it is simply like select sum of sales from sales where month in 5, 6, 7. Okay. So this is something that we are using, or whatever you consider, because as per the location, whatever winter months or summer months are there, you can select that. And that's why this becomes our first KPI, that is summer revenue. Okay. So summer revenue is 3 million. Similarly, you can take other months and that you can call as winter revenue. Okay. So that's what we have done here.
I have doubt.
What doubt?
Actually, actually, you mentioned here as a month. Then why you are
So if you take month, what type of argument is it demanding?
month date? Correct.
It is asking date, right? So basically in a month, if you will write a date, it will give you the integer of that date. Okay, representing the month. So that's why we have to use date. What you are saying is we can use month from here, right? But when you will take month, it will give you something like January, February. And you can do that as well, like where, so we can write something like date. So we can write sales date and dot, something like month in. But here we need to do more calculations, right? So simple trick is to just select the month function and just put the date value here. So in sales, we'll put the date value here. So it will automatically convert it to an integer value, and then comparing will be easy.
Yes, sir.
So this is winter revenue. This will be become our second KPI. So I just completed those rows, but here we can create these KPIs. And so 3 million versus 4 million. And if we have to compare that, okay, like if we have to compare these two values, then we will, let's say category wise, we want to find summer revenue and winter revenue. So we can use a chart like a stacked column chart, and in a stack column chart we can prepare this type of data. So in x-axis we will put category name, and on y-axis we are going to add both of these measures. This is sum of winter revenue and sum of summer revenue. And now you can see a particular pattern here, like for geyser, heater and TV, winter revenue is more. For cooler, AC, fan, summer revenue, only summer revenue is there. Like it seems like nobody is buying them. But there are two particular products like iron and fridge that that are bought in both the regions, right? So in case of iron, winter revenue is this, and so in case of iron, summer revenue is more. In case of fridge, winter revenue is more. So this is how you can compare values. Now here, what I will simply do is I will go to General tab, Title, and first of all I'll select the same heading color. We can make it bold, and now we can use font size 12 and align it to center. So summer revenue and winter revenue by category. This will be the answer. Okay. And we can again go to general tab effects and we can enable some shadow. I will not enable border here, but I will just keep the shadow. So I will just remove the visual border. So this is summer revenue and winter revenue by category. So you can use month to filter based on seasonal months, and we learned the use of in operator here, okay, which is important. It is also like or, right, where month equal to 12 or month equal to 1 or month equal to 2. Now second question is, which city has the highest average temperature on days when ACs were sold? Okay, so when ACs were sold, so if you see the data, you see category here. Okay, in category you get an answer that to get sales of ACs you have to filter this data, right, when ACs were sold, and then you just have to calculate sum. So here you will find average temperature AC sales. So this is average temperature, and when sales category is AC. Okay, so this will give us that answer. So we will go and create a measure. Again we are using the calculate function, but here you can see in expression we are using average temperature, and here we are seeing the sales category is AC. Is it okay, or do you have any doubt here?
Sales category equal to AC. That itself is the data
Field.
is filtered, right?
Yeah, so in calculate you use first argument as your expression, and second one you have to use a filter, right? So like in the previous example also we use the filter, right? Like when we calculated summer sales, the second thing is filter, and in filter we are actually selecting 3 months, right, with the help of in operator. This question can also be asked in a way that what is average temperature in winters? Do you get my point? This is a question that you can solve. What is average temperature in winters? So you will do the same thing. Here you will just write average temperature, and in months you will write like December, January and February, which are winter months. So this is something that you can do, right? So this is what we are doing is average temperature for AC sales. This will help us in analyzing the data. Okay. So we have a measure now, average temperature of AC sales, and we have city also. So now we are going to compare city wise average temperature of AC sales. I'm just going to use a clustered chart. Here I will use city as the X city on X axis and average temperature for AC sales here. The average temperature AC sales by city, you can see in Jaipur it is highest out of the given cities that we have, 34.43, in Lucknow 32. This is the average temperature. You can also find minimum or maximum temperature here. Now my question is how to use gradient here, how to show this value as a gradient.
Not temperature. By color we can mention. Low temperature means this one, this color, high temperature.
So basically we can go to format visual, we can go to bars, and from here we can select FX. So here, like, we will choose gradient size, and in sales, because we created this measure average temperature, right? So let's say we will show lowest value by this color and highest value by this color. So this will give us some kind of cool and hot kind of thing or whatever, right? So obviously this is some synthetic data, but in actual sense you can prepare some gradients like this. So this is average temperature, this is by city, and we are seeing those values. If you want to see these values, you can enable data label here. So you will be able to see that temperature also. And this is how company will be able to manage their inventory, right? That when temperature starts falling in a particular city, they will understand that what type of product will be more in demand, right? So they can manage their inventories accordingly. When to buy more ACs, when to buy more fridge, when to buy more any type of product is dependent on the average temperature, month, etc. Right? This is one thing that we can do. Next is, so similarly you can do it for multiple categories also. Like if you think we have winter related products, like we already have an idea that cooler, AC, fan, these are all summer related products. Geyser, heater, they are more like winter related products. So you can group them also, right? So try that from your end. Next question is, calculate the total discount value given per category. So here we are talking about total discount. Total discount we can get by sum function. When total words like total are there, so we will use sum function. But it is given per category. Okay. So calculate the total discount value given per category. So here what we are doing is we're writing sum x. Sum x evaluates row by row and multiplies revenue by discount percentage for each row and then sums it. Okay. So here we will write this and we will create another measure here, and this is total discount value. This is basically discount value per sales actually, like because we are considering sales. But here you can see revenue multiplied by discount divided by 100. So whatever discount value is given on the basis of revenue, we are trying to find that. Okay, and where is that? Yeah, total discount value. So here we are using the revenue column as our reference, multiplying the discount percentage, then divided by 100, a simple formula. And this is total discount value. And let's see in which type of products we have highest discounts. So for that we are again going to copy this, and I will simply use donut chart here. In donut chart I will remove both of these values, and I will simply select my product name, and product name wise we will try to find out discount percent. So total discount percent. So now you can see we have so many products here, but the problem here we are facing is gradient. Okay, because if you remember we copied this visual here. So when we copied, so you can see that particular setting also got copied. So here we will try to create a donut chart from scratch without copying it, and then in legend we will put product name and then total discount. So now you can see it will not copy the same colors, it will create its own colors. And we can see that for hot box we have got the highest total discount value is for this hot box for all the sales combined. Quickly we can go to title and we can select this, make it bold, align it to center, use font size. I know here we have to redesign it, but this is something that we can use when the same gradient styling is being copied. So we will use, yeah. Whenever we are doing row wise calculations, we use sum x, because here for each row we have to find its revenue and its discount. Like for example, here there is no discount, right?
Hmm.
In this case, there is 15% discount. So based on this, you have to do row wise calculation. If you will multiply revenue with discount and then sum it, then it will give you total discount, right? Not
Okay, sir.
not product wise or category wise discount. Now there is one more calculation that we can do. So you can see this particular formula is calculating discount for us. Okay, I just want to add this, and so we will create a new column here and we will call it discount in rupees or whatever you want to say, and we will just write this. Okay, so this is not discount percentage, let's say this is discount value. Okay, when you will create this, it will automatically calculate what is the overall discount, and on the basis of that your final price is already calculated, so we don't need to calculate that. But now if I ask you what is average discount per category or what is total discount per category, because here it is given calculate the total discount value given per category. The formula that I have written here is actually showing row wise discount, right? How to calculate it per category? One simple way is to create a matrix chart. Okay, use a matrix chart. In matrix chart, put category here, and in values you will select the discount. So we now have the discount value here, or we have calculated row wise, so we can put that this is total discount value. So now we can calculate that, right? Total discount value. This is actually per category. Okay, so this is total, but what if we have to present it as a data? So that's why we can use summarize, right? So we can go to modeling, we can create a new table, and we can write it like total discount by category. Can you tell me the formula?
Summarize.
We'll use summarize, we'll use sales table. Our group by column will be what? Category. What will be the name of our new column? It will be total discount, right? And then what will be the expression? Sum of with the new column that we created. Okay. Discount value. So this is also one way of finding out total discount by category. And now you will have this table where you can find. You can also find out average discount. You can also find out minimum, maximum, standard deviation. Like you can describe the data, right? All you have to do is just keep writing. Let's say we want to find average discount also. So average discount. So just add new name and new expression. New expression will be average of discount value. Now new column will be created and this will give us average discount. And now we can use that table, here somewhere, which we will see. But let's move to question number 4. Question number 4 is asking what is month over month growth in final sales price. So our question number 4 is what is month over month growth in final sales price. Actually for this question we have to understand the concept of dates and date table. For this we have a dedicated chapter here called time intelligence in Power BI. So those, first of all, you have to watch this to understand the concept, because we create a date table and mark it as a date table. Okay? How to do that I will give that instruction, and then you can do this type of calculation like month over month calculation, year over year calculation. So these are called time intelligence functions, which we are going to discuss in that chapter. But let's go to question number 5 then, our final question. Find the best selling product category by final price in high temperature days above 40 degrees Celsius. First of all, do we understand the question? So whenever a sales is happening, we are recording temperature, and when there are cases when temperature is above 40 degrees Celsius, like there are these 7 or 8 cases. So what is the best selling product category in that case? So here we are using a filter. Okay, the temperature is the filter and our selection will be category and value will be final price. So highest temperature sales will be simple sum of sales of final price. Okay, so this will create the highest temperature sales. Okay, and then we can add this to a visual grouped by category and sort descending to find the top. Okay, like this is a easy way for beginners. So first we are finding high temperature sales. Okay, and for that we will go and create a new measure. This measure will be high temperature sales. We are using calculate function. In calculate function we are just finding out sum of sales of final price, and we are just applying a condition that sales should be greater than 40 degrees Celsius. So this is a comparison operator. Okay, comparison operator. We are not saying 40 degree or above, we are saying above 40 degree. That's why we are using this. Just like SQL that we studied. And now we have high temperature sales, and what we can do is on the basis of different product categories that we have, we can try to find out. So we will just create a copy of this, and here we will just write high temperature sales. Okay, we will write high temperature sales, and you can see we have only 4 categories that are actually sold when the temperature is above the given mark. Here also we can go to columns and we can create the same effect. So we'll select gradient in sales. In this case, our sales is on the basis of high temperature sales, again low to high, and this is higher temperature sales by category, where we can see cooler is that category which is sold mostly when temperature is high. We can enable data level to see that revenue also. Okay. Next simple thing will be to analyze temperature wise sales of different categories. So now we are just creating line chart here. In line chart on x axis, I am just putting month here. I am not putting year. I am simply taking month because I want to analyze month wise. So month wise on y axis we can find out final price, that is what company will take home. And so you can see first of all that overall in July we have the lowest amount of sales. In May and in October we have highest sales. That may be because of festival also, because in Diwali most of people buy electronic items, so that may be one reason. And in May, obviously because temperature starts, you know, starts to get high and higher and higher. That's why most people buy in this month, and there may be n number of reasons. But here, this one line is actually showing everything, sales of every different category. We can now add a legend here. You can add category as a legend to see the sales. You will see some broken lines because these broken lines are representing that all the items are not sold throughout the year, at least as per the data set. So that's why we are seeing these broken lines. But if you want to do it category wise, you can see that. In line chart, you can also compare your final price versus your actual revenue. So you can compare these two. So that's why on secondary axis, I am adding that. Although because both of them have the same unit, so I can add it on the same axis also and see the same data. And we can use a area chart or stacked area chart to compare them as well. So this is simply final price versus revenue by month. So I am just writing that final price and revenue by month, and we can take this heading 12 pixel as the font size, make it bold, align it to center, and we can go to effects and enable some shadow here. This is final price and revenue by month. And like we have store wise also, so we can find out store wise revenue to see which store generates more revenue. And that's why we will use a funnel chart, because we will rank these stores also. Like, so in funnel chart we will put a store on the categorical field, and in values I will select either revenue or final price or any calculated measure that we have created so far. And here let's take revenue, and you can see revenue wise store 5 is actually the store with highest amount of sales, 100%. Then second is store 2. What I want to do is, in data labels, in values, I want to display in thousands so that we can see the difference also. Now it is better. Next, as we created this sidebar, you already know that how to create a slicer. So just click anywhere and add a slicer, and in that slicer I will just let me prepare the slicer. So when we are creating this slicer, you have to select a categorical field or field like date. So here one thing I will select is city, because I want to see city wise revenue. Here now you can see category label, anything is not visible. So first we will select drop down. In drop down we have these values, so I will increase the size. Font color is okay. For a slicer header, I will choose a light color, increase its height and make it bold. So, and you can choose accordingly. Next, I will simply enable some effect here also, like visual border and shadow. Although in visual border I will give a white color. So this way we can prepare our filters. This is city. We will copy and paste. Here we can add category also as filter. We can copy and paste. Here we can add store as filter or whatever you want to select. Okay. Even if you want to add date, you can add date as a filter. So for example, in date, let's say we just want to see month wise. So if I want to analyze sales of March, April and May, June, so we can select this and analyze the data, and you can see in these months there is only summer sale and there is no winter sale. But in the months of December, January and February, there is only winter revenue and no summer revenue. You can select this and find out. So on the basis of different categories, you can see the data. You can clear the selection also. So this is part 1 of this data set. So again, this is report 1. As I said, we have to do year over year, month over month, those type of analysis, and for that we have to prepare a date table. So a simple way to prepare a date table is by going to modeling tab and create a new table and call it a date table. In this date table we will write calendar function. Okay, what function? Calendar. Because a calendar function returns a table with one column of all dates between the start date and end date. Is it okay? So in calendar function, the start date we can select as minimum of sales table date, and we can keep the end date as maximum of sales table date. Is it okay? Like whatever is the minimum date, like when the sales is started, right? And whatever is the maximum date, we are creating that. See, so it will start from minimum date and maximum date. What is the minimum date here? So if you will see, minimum date is 4 January 2023. What is the maximum date? 25 December 2024. So this way you will be able to create a date table and write minimum date. So first thing to do is create a date table. Okay. Now when you will create this as a date table, you will see date and date hierarchy and everything here. Is it okay? And now you will mark as date table. What? Mark as date table. So when you will mark it as date table, you have to select the column, and that column is date. Let me rephrase it. Whenever we have to do these MOM or YOY, like month over month, year over year, or month over month growth, year over year growth, these kind of comparisons, what we do is we work with a date table in Power BI. Okay. First of all, let me fix this on the same gradient score. So in sales table, this will be based on revenue, so that they all look okay, right? So whenever we are doing this kind of calculations, we have to create a date table. A date table is a special kind of table in Power BI for these kind of calculations. So when I am writing a date table, I can create a table with the help of calendar function, and this calendar function will help me in creating a table with minimum date and maximum date of sales. Okay, so that's what we are doing here. So and call it a date table. Then you can see now in table what is selected right now. A table is selected, yes or no? Like let's say we are in table view and a table is selected. So when a table is selected, you will find table tools, right? Remember, when a when a measure is selected, you will find measure tools. When a column is selected, you will find column tools. So when a table is selected and in table tool, you will see mark as date table. So that means you have a valid date table. That's why this option is coming. Okay. Select a table to be used and then mark it as a date table. Then it will ask you what column. So in our date table, we have a column called date. Okay, this will be automatically there, validated successfully. When you are seeing this, that's why now you will see this table becomes a date table, and now you will not see the hierarchy anymore. Okay, you will see an icon like this. So if you have started seeing an icon like this, okay, Mohan and Shadar, so you can now confirm that your date table is created. Why date table? See, there is a case when we are comparing sales. Okay, so let's say we are comparing sales. When we are comparing sales and we are writing date, and then we want to find out count of sales by date. So let's say we are trying to find out count of sales by date. For that we may have order ID somewhere. Is it the date, etc., etc.? Okay, we don't have order ID, so we will select any column then. Let's select a store, no problem. So count of store will also show the same data. So what it is showing you is date wise. If you will go one down, you will see by year and quarter. It will go one down by year, quarter and month, and then by day. So do you think there are some days where there is no sales, or there can be days without a sale, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So in this table, so let's see, on 21 June there was sale. Let's arrange them. So on 4 January there was sale, then on 8 January there was, right? So do you see that this is broken from, like on 5th, 6th, 7th, we don't have any data, right? But when you have to do a comparison, then you must have all the values. Okay, you must have all the values, and for that we have created this. Here you will see 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So here it will have all the values. Okay, so that's why we create a date table and mark it as a date table. And then what we do? Then what we do? We create a model. In date table, don't you think your date column is same as this date column, right? So you will just create the relationship. Is it okay? In your total discount by category table, don't you think category and category are same? So you can create these models, okay, which we have studied so far. So then when you will, this will be your final step before calculations begin. So for YOY MOM, etc. kind of calculations for time intelligence, create a new table with calendar function. Okay, that we just saw. Minimum and maximum sales date. Is it okay? Then select the table and mark it as date table. Okay, so we just selected the table and we marked it as date table. Okay, then what? Then what? Then link the date column to main sales tables date column in relationship, right? Relationship view or model view. So this is our preparation. So we have prepared the data. In next part we will run time intelligence functions. Okay, so that will be in the next part. In this part, practice this, apply the filters. Okay, if these values are not visible properly, what you can do is you can use different colors. Like now you can play with these things as per your requirement. So now I'll copy this formatting. So I'll prepare this video and upload it. Try these 5 questions right now. Okay, and then after these 5, and you can see after I created that, you will see some changes in this graph, right? Because now we have data with more values. So what difference does it create? You can compare it now and before. So try all of this, and in our next part we will discuss more on this data set, because I will create more questions and come back to you. And while doing this, while preparing this, if you have some questions, then we will discuss in our next class. Okay, Mohan, Shadar?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Have a nice day. We'll meet again.